Hi, welcome back to my channel. I am so happy to have you here. My name is Serenity and this is Homemaking in Heels, where I love to talk about all things homemaking, Christian wifehood, femininity, all that good stuff. So if that's what you're into, go ahead and grab yourself something nice to drink. Today I have both a cup of coffee because I need some extra caffeine today, and some of you guys might remember last year I was trying to drink a gallon of water a day, and I'm back to that. So whether you're doing coffee or water or anything in between, just go ahead and grab yourself something yummy and let's get into it. So today I'm going to be doing my 1,000 subscriber Q&A. That feels so surreal to even say. I remember when I first started this, I was like, if I can just get 100, that will be insane. And now I'm at 1,000, and I know that that's still like minuscule compared to so many YouTubers, but to me it's still massive. So thank you so much for being subscribed. If you haven't already, go ahead and subscribe. Let's join the fam. And so like I said, I'm doing a little Q&A. I asked you guys to send me some questions over on my Instagram. So I've got my little notebook, as always, with the questions written down, and let's get into it. My first question is, what inspired me and keeps inspiring me to make YouTube videos? And that's a hard question. I think what really inspired me to begin was during the pandemic. I kind of was like, okay, I've always wanted to do this because I love YouTube. Like, that's the main thing that I watch, even more than TV. I've always kind of wanted to do it. Now I've got time, like I've got an excuse, so I might as well. One of the driving forces behind it for me really was that I was looking at all of these other homemakers on YouTube, and I was having a hard time finding one that I fully related to because of the fact that I also do have a side hustle. Especially back when I first started, I was actually going into a school for 6 hours every day and then coming home and being a homemaker. And so that was something that I really wasn't seeing a lot of other people showing or doing. And so while to stay home, you guys have still seen in my vlogs, it is still a part of my life. I still do distance learning, and now I'm actually, Lord willing, getting set up to be permanently at a virtual academy, which would be great. Like, y'all please be praying for that. So we'll see, but that was a big thing that inspired me to make it, as I wasn't seeing a lot of that, especially with, you know, first responder wife in Southern California and just all the little intricacies of it. And so I felt like, you know, maybe I had a little something to add to that community, so I thought I would go ahead and make some. And then my husband has always been such a big, like, cheerleader for me, where his big thing is always, if you want to do it, what's stopping you? Like, don't let anything hold you back. If you want to do it, just go for it, just do it. And so yeah, that's what inspired me, and then he really does keep inspiring me to keep making them. Yeah, that's really what inspires me, is just the feeling of, I haven't seen a lot of other homemaker YouTubers with a similar life to mine, and I want to be that voice for the other ones that are out there that I am now starting to see, just in terms of, like, now that I've gotten to know more people in the homemaker community, you know, I want to be that voice because there is such diversity in, you know, the world of homemakers. And so I want there to be a space where everybody feels, I want there to be a space for everybody where somebody can come and relate, whether that's my space or somebody else's. But that's what inspired me and continues to inspire me. Next question is a place I want to see. So I have grown up traveling a fair bit. Like, my husband and I joke that the way that most people grow up in America, where it's like you grow up in a nice little suburban town and you go to school and you don't really leave the country that much. That's how a lot of Americans grow up, right? And then you reach your 20s and now it's like, okay, time to travel, time to see the world. I grew up the opposite. I grew up traveling the world as a child and teen and all of that. And then now that I'm an adult, I'm like, I just want to be stable. I want to stay at home, a stable life where I can serve the Lord in my circle. You know, I don't travel nearly as much as I used to, is what I'm trying to say, in a long-winded way. But somewhere that I miss and I really would love to go back to, and I really would love to take my husband to, is Dumpus in Nepal. It's this little mountain village on the way, like it's right at the base of the Himalayan trek, and it's absolutely absolutely beautiful. Like, I honestly get emotional thinking about it. Like, it's the most beautiful place I've ever seen. It's the closest to what I imagine heaven will be like, just this quiet little mountain village. So I would love to go back there. A few like rapid fire ones. So one of them is, how many languages do I speak? I speak one, but I was raised with, I call it Danglish, where it's like there's some words that I only knew in Danish until I was like 20, like duvet. I didn't know it was Juna, and just little things like that. I grew up with that the way that a lot of like, you know, my husband is Mexican American. He grew up with Spanglish, right? Like that's a common thing that we hear. So I say I grew up with Danglish, but I only speak one language fluently. All right, the other one is, what is my height? I am 5'3". I'm a shorty. What is a feminine gypsy tradition that I love? I love this question. So if you guys, for those of you who don't know, I am gypsy. My mother's a gypsy. And so with that, one of the things that I really do love, like the feminine values and traditions of, I guess you could say like the gypsy world, the gypsy culture, is the way that they embrace their femininity as a whole. Think of gypsies, you think of the long flowing skirts and the dancing and the hair, and there's a strength to the femininity where it's not this like, oh, I'm just a little woman. Like, it's more like, I am woman, hear me roar in my skirt that's like floor length and has bells, and love it. Next question I find equally as interesting. It was, have I ever been discriminated against for being a gypsy? And that I'm very thankful to say no. I grew up, you know, in the US. It's a bit of a loaded question for me. So I grew up in the US, and my mother actually didn't know that she was gypsy until she was 25 and moving to the US because her father grew up in a refugee camp during World War II. Being raised in the US, I never experienced it, but my grandparents definitely did, especially during World War II. I want to make it very clear that I have never experienced discrimination for being gypsy. Until I fully understood what that meant growing up, I definitely felt that we were different, and I couldn't put my finger on why. Because of that, of growing up in the US, and I remember seeing like, you know, all the other neighborhood moms that would be wearing like little polo dresses and like jeans, and their house was cream and white. My mother would then show up in, you know, like I described, a long flowing red dress, usually with bells and combat boots, and like long flowing black hair, like black curly wild hair. Our dining room, well, we had one, it has since been converted into a library / coffee room, but it was fuchsia and gold, and our living room is now blue. It used to be orange, and our bathroom is bright gold, and you see it and you feel it. And you know, while other girls were, you know, out being the soccer girls and like all lean at like 12 years old, I had hips, like full on hips. And, you know, I was growing into myself, but I very much could feel, was always just very clear that my family was different from the culture around us. And then now that I'm older, I see that of, it's because we're gypsy, and I didn't get that growing up, but there's no way I would ever say that I ever felt discriminated against, but it's always very much heavy on my heart. Gypsies in Europe that are still being so heavily discriminated against today. I hope that kind of answers the question. The next question is, what has God been teaching me lately? One of the main things that he's been teaching me is the power in being authentically yourself, but beyond that, power in knowing that you are a ragamuffin, you're human, you're broken, you're going to make mistakes, but that is completely, you know, irregardless of his love for you and what he's going to do in your life. Like, I think it's very easy as Christians to try and look good and be good and like follow all the right rules, and especially lately, I can't say lately, that's totally wrong, especially just in general, we tend to slip back into legalism in so many different ways that is so sad. And so I've really just been delving into and exploring and savoring the freedom that comes with being a Christian, and how that is, like, you know, scripture says, in no way a license to sin, But when we really do delve into what that freedom means and what it looks like, it's absolutely just insane and liberating. So on that, actually, a book I've been reading that has been really opening up my mind more with that and inspiring me is Ragamuffin Gospel by Brennan Manning. Check that one out. It's a good one. My next question is, what book of the Bible am I reading right now? And that would be Exodus. How does my skin routine change from winter to summer? Totally changing gears with that one. Really the only thing that changes is I start using Jergens Natural Glow in the summer because I want a tan. That's it. I'm looking for a more clean, organic option, but that's really the only thing that changes in my skin routine is I start using fake tanner. Guys, my last two questions. Do I like France and have I been there? I am fascinated by France and French culture, but I've never been, but I would love to go. My last one is, did I lose friends when I joined the Femininity Revolution, as Cynthia L here on YouTube coined it? And you know, that kind of Christian wifehood. Did I lose friends when I joined that? And I'm very thankful to be able to say no, I did not. I very much have friends that are just in general supportive. Like, if I were to now drop everything and go get a corporate job and become a CEO, they would support me in that just as much as they do in this. So I'm very, very, very thankful for that. You guys, that is my Q&A for 1,000 subscribers. Thank you so much for watching. I am so grateful that I even get to make this video. And now before I hop off, I am gonna give you my little OOTD. All right, you guys, so here is today's OOTD. It's just a little maxi dress from Amazon and some Birkenstocks. And then this came with a drawstring, but I actually cut that out and belted it because I like how that looks more. And I will be honest that it's not my favorite dress, like the material and all that, but I got it and I was too lazy to return it. So we're sticking with it. But yeah, summer is coming, so I'm very much needing like light and flowy pieces like this. But that is today's OOTD. Thank you so much for watching. Please do subscribe if you haven't already, and I will see you in my next video. Bye.